Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And, of course, the Brian Craig Show podcast is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. Tom Laporta will never sell you a roof you do not need. All right. So the debate last night, I know everyone's talked about the debate to death, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more because, when these things happen, like when there's an event, a debate is what we're talking about now. Sometimes you got to wait until the next day to let it sink in to get a perspective on what happened. And a bunch of things happened because today's 9/11. The debate is really faded away in the news because of the 9/11 ceremonies. In fact,
maybe that's why they planned it for last night.
Maybe. In fact, at Ground Zero today, Trump was there. So was Biden and Kamala, and Trump and Kamala shook hands and were being friendly with each other. Yeah. The debate, I'll talk a little bit about that debate. I think it was. I do agree that if you got to pick a winner, Trump won because what Kamala Harris did with ABC News was so self-destructive. Mm-hmm. And there is a poll, which I'm going to share in just a few minutes, about the debate that's very, very important. Mm-hmm. But the debate, a lot of people are saying it didn't move the needle. That is not true. That is not true at all with what I'm going to tell you in just a few minutes. So it moved the needle quite a bit. And I just found this out right before we started the show. The purpose of that debate from the, ABC Kamala Harris team, because they obviously were working together. The entire thing was scripted. Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris's team had the questions, they had the responses in advance, and they even knew the timing of when everything was going to come up. Because this woman that can't take a single question, who was pretending to be on the phone and everything, all of a sudden had all the answers. But then it came out today that that fluff guy that works for Obama, who's working on her campaign, put together a list. I heard Charlie Kirk talking about this. So he had it was 21 trigger points for Trump.
Yeah.
And she went through them all, the crowd sizes, Charlottesville, and all this stuff. And a lot of people are saying, I don't like when people say this. I keep hearing this. He took the bait. He took the bait. He took the bait. Millions of people were watching that debate. Okay. The people that say that he took the bait would not have said anything positive about Trump no matter what happened, okay? When you've got a debate that's on ABC News, and of course all the media carried it, okay? Millions of people saw it, and most people that were watching that don't watch the rallies on Right Side Broadcasting or follow the news like we do and know that Donald Trump says, and I'm not talking about the racist and white supremacists, they should be so he had to correct all that stuff, okay? Or if he didn't, the people that say that he took the bait will say, oh, he let that hang out there. He didn't correct that, So there was no winning for Trump, okay? But the purpose of the debate was a few things. But one of the main things is Kamala Harris has not gotten a single vote. And she's got the nomination. And they have to go through some motions to make it look like she's going through a process. Mm-hmm. So she had to do a debate. Now, there's talk of her doing immediately. Her campaign wanted to set up a second debate. And they have a third debate that Trump agreed to on NBC News. He agreed to a Fox debate, an ABC debate, and an NBC debate. And she, of course, wouldn't do the Fox, so they just went to this one. And I don't think he should do it under I think he's done enough on their schedule and conditions. He did CNN with those liberal jerks. He did ABC, who obviously was coordinating with Kamala. He's supposed to go on NBC now? Are you kidding me? No.
In fact, I think he should say, I'll do a debate on Fox and Sean Hannity's going to moderate it.
What I would like them to do.
And Pete Hegseth.
I would like them each to be
that would be great.
I would like them to have two moderators. Each of them gets to pick one. They get to pick the one that questions them.
That's a great idea.
Kamala gets to pick who questions Trump, and Trump gets to pick who questions her.
That's a great idea.
And I was talking to a caller about this on the radio this morning. This is what Hannity and Combs used to do. Combs was the Democrat. Yeah. He would interview the Republicans. Hannity would interview the Democrats, the liberals. And that would, but she's never going to agree to that because she can only do something that's scripted.
Well, she has to. It was clear last night, and I was upset when I was watching it because I felt the same way. They're baiting him; he's taking the bait, and I was really aggravated about it. But here's, my takeaway now. The next day, the American people are not stupid, even though liberals think they are. They're not. They know what's going on. And I looked at the polls this morning. They did an ABC poll. They did a CNBC poll. Trump won both by like 30, 40 points.
That's right.
That tells me that their tricks just didn't work. Last night, to me, was a waste of time. Mm-hmm. It was all about smoke and mirrors. Even when they did the side-by-side screenshot, she was taller than him. The way they moved the camera, she looked an inch or two taller than Trump. It was ridiculous. That was right out of the gate. So I knew right then, okay, I promise you, she rehearsed with David Muir and that girl. I promise you they rehearsed this with them. And it was like the three of them were doing a dance.
It was like a glove. They fit like a glove.
And they were doing a dance.
A dance is a good analogy.
And Trump was like, it was 3-on-1.
He was the third wheel.
And it was like they had this rehearsed dance, the three of them, and then Trump came in at the very, very last minute and didn't know the routine.
That's exactly.
That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
I would have answered
Kathy, that's probably, because this includes me, by the way, because that's why this one. Out of everyone I've heard give analysis of the debate, I think yours is the most accurate.
Thank you.
This rehearsing a dance, that doesn't mean they met in person. They could have done this over Zoom.
No, I bet they met in person. I promise you.
I would not be surprised.
It was all of their questions were about the past. Okay, she keeps telling you we got to move forward. I think there were some missed opportunities with Trump because they tapped into his weaknesses, and everybody has them. And his weaknesses are the rally size, the things that tap into that kind of stuff that they know he's going to react to. Mm-hmm. And he allowed that to happen. I feel like you won't agree with me. I feel like he was manipulated a little bit and he let it happen. That aggravated me with Trump. But I think that it was obvious what they were doing. I wish he would have handled it a little differently. Like, I wish he would have called them out on it and would have said, this is 3 against 1. You guys have all rehearsed this because everything's working so perfectly for you. I mean, it's like they had these questions. She had the perfect response. It just seemed very well coordinated. And I wish he would have called them out on it on the stage. And he went down these rabbit holes that they dug for him. And I wish he wouldn't have done that in some instances. I wish he would have said, look, I'm not going to talk about January 6th again. That was in the past. He could have said, her slogan is move forward. She keeps saying move forward. So why are we talking about the past? Let's talk about moving forward, what we're going to do for the country. And I wish he would have done a better job of getting them steered in that direction because I feel that they manipulated him and he let it happen. But I will say this, that it was obvious that's what they were doing. And it was so obvious that it helped Trump.
Yep.
Because it was so obvious they were helping her that's why he won the debate.
They were colluding.
That's why he won the debate. And let me say one more thing. Yep. My mom, who watches David Muir every damn
I don't know
night,
why.
That's like, I call him her boyfriend because she just loves David Muir, watches him every night. She texted me last night and she said, I'm never watching him again. And that to me is huge because she loves David Muir and she watches him religiously. And she texted me, she said, David Muir's an asshole and I'm not watching him ever again. Yeah. So for my mom, who's a Trump supporter, but for some reason she likes this guy, for her to say that to me, and she doesn't love everything Trump says, but she votes for him. She's a Republican. That to me was like, showed how obvious it was what they were doing. And that's why Trump won.
Well, I want to disagree with some of what you said. I agree with almost everything you said, except that he fell for this and that and all this. If you go back to the soundbite, because these debates, what people talk about are sound bites. All the one-liners came from him.
He had some good one-liners.
But one thing that Kamala did, there's two qualities that people have that display sometimes that drive me, that I can't stand when people do these two things.
She didn't come across as likable.
And there's two things that people can do that just disgust me. I just can't stand when people do this. She did one of them. One of them, not the one she did, is when people, you could tell, are in love with themselves. You know, like I was watching the Fox panel with Brett Baer and Martha McCallum before the debate. They're in love with themselves. They just think they're so cool. But what she did with this hand on the chin or chin on the hand.
Yeah, her reactions were bad.
Where she was like looking at him and judging him. It's condescension. Yeah. And when someone's condescending, that to me is the most, when she's trying to be condescending to him, is the most unlikable trait that a person can show. And what you said about it being a dance, it's exactly right. A well choreographed dance.
Yeah, it was. And, like on Dancing with the Stars.
But the thing with the way the debate was set up, okay, it was 3-on-1.
Yeah.
Her mic was not always muted. His was. They have this limited time, and then his mic is muted. They kept hers unmuted a lot.
Yeah, they
did. So when you're in a situation like that, he was in a situation where it's rather limiting. You've got 3 people going up against you. They mute your mic. You have a very limited time to respond. And I think he did incredibly well considering the conditions. I think, like I told you at the beginning, if he would not have responded to those things, they would, he left that out there. Maybe he is a white supremacist with the Charlotte Tiki Torch people.
No, I disagree.
He had to. I'm talking about what the analysts would be saying. There's nothing Donald Trump could say or have done last night that would have the talking heads say anything. Now,
he could have said to her during the debate, "You are so well coached. Like the 3 of you have this down." Like he could have called them out on it.
Kathy, but on the stage, he may not have realized it.
I felt like they had him on the defensive the entire time, and he was constantly defending himself. And that is like every question with David Muir was phrased. Jack Posobiec pointed it out. Everything they asked her was, "How do you feel about this?"
Yeah.
But when they asked him, it was, "How do you explain?"
Yeah.
And he should have pointed that out. See, those are little subtle things that they do to it's psych ops, and it's little subtle things like that psychologically are meant to manipulate you. But the reason I'm saying he won is because their tricks were obvious.
Yep.
And offensive and insulting.
Yeah.
And she did not connect with the viewers at all. You did not leave that debate knowing who she was at all, knowing anything about her, because she was spending too much time attacking his past. And that was a wasted opportunity for both of them, mainly her. And I think most people will see, and I saw a lot of people talk about it that they interviewed, and they said, "I still don't know anything about her or what she stands for." And that was done by design because they don't want you to know what she stands for. And I think, and after they interviewed people, even on CNN, it did not move the needle for her one bit. It did not gain her. If anything, she'll lose people and Trump will win. So he won in that regard. But I just felt, and he won because they were screwed up, because they were so obvious in what they were doing. But I felt that he could have, we just disagree on this, that he could have handled some of those questions a little differently.
Well, sometimes
it was like they were constantly attacking
when you're in that situation on a stage. I don't know if you could see what we see now. What I saw,
she contradicted herself so much.
What I saw right before we started the podcast, which I thought was very interesting. I was watching on X. ABC had a focus group, and it was one of those focus groups where they give them the controls and the knobs to when they agree or disagree with what. And when Trump was talking, they had three groups of people with the lines: Republicans, Democrats, and Independents. And when Trump was talking, of course, the Democrats were going down, but the Republicans and the Independents were going up when Trump talked. When Kamala was talking, the Independents with the Republicans were going down. So
she's not likable.
The Independents were on Trump's side, and,
Right.
and you know, this is something I keep telling you guys. The economy is out of control and expensive. I mean, things are expensive, and I know it's taken a toll on us because things are so expensive. Okay, they really are. Mm-hmm. And Kathy and I do not have extravagant lifestyles. Okay. You know, we live in the same house that we've lived in. We have a small house. We've lived in our house for just over 20 years now. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people upgrade and do stuff like that. We almost did last year, but we didn't. But we don't. The only traveling I do,
we didn't, because if Trump was in office,
we probably would have.
We would have. But because of the
interest rates,
the interest rate alone killed that deal.
Yeah,
the HOA were a problem, but the interest rate
was out of control.
8.5%.
Yeah,
if Trump was in office, it would have been like 4%, and we probably would have bought that house.
But we don't live in We got a lot of equity in our house because we lived here so long. But we do not live an extravagant life. We don't travel too much.
We have a 13-year-old car.
Yeah, exactly. You know, my car is 13 years old, and I got to take it in and get it fixed.
Exactly.
But
no, we don't. We don't.
The only
I buy my clothes at Walmart.
Yeah, so. The only traveling I do is I go on the listener cruise once a year, and
Halloween Horror Nights.
Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, which is 2.5 hours from the house. So we, and you guys know that I work 24/7. So even with our lifestyle that we have, we have to cut back. We've had to cut back, and it's because the price of everything is so high. And a lot of people have young children and things are having a lot of problems. Yeah. So, but this is something.
And none of that was addressed last night.
This is what my biggest takeaway, other than the coordination. The suffering in this country is bad. I had to fill up the car today, and now Kathy's car, we got to put super unleaded in it. Okay, can't put regular unleaded in Kathy's car. You know how it is sometimes. Some cars, it was over $5 a gallon. Okay, that's too much even for super. And there are people that can't fill their tanks up, okay, because they don't have enough money. People are really struggling. And with Kamala, I heard no empathy towards the suffering of the American people.
She was laughing.
All I heard her care about was Ukraine and illegals and herself. I didn't hear her have any empathy towards any American people.
No, in fact, when Trump brought up the Haitians in Springfield, she laughed. And then David Muir, of course, had a quote we contacted a city official. They had that ready to go, that wasn't true. See, that was a missed opportunity. Trump said, well, I saw people on TV, which is true. But what he could have said was, well, David, I saw the city council meeting where resident after resident after resident came up and said it was happening. So are they lying? Are you calling those people liars? That's how I would have handled that. But I think because it was 3-on-1,
and they muted the mics and all that,
he was at a disadvantage. Even Trump was at a disadvantage. Now this, and I saw a lot of people say, people well known, like Megyn Kelly just bashed ABC.
Oh, she was
all
pissed.
over again. And they said, how can one person debate three people that are like, they were like attack dogs? Remember that scene in Django where Leonardo DiCaprio put the attack dogs on the slave and killed him? That's what it was like. It was 3 attack dogs on Trump. And I think that I don't think he got overwhelmed, but it was like they were hitting him from all sides, and it was so obvious what they were doing.
And muting his mic.
Yeah, it was so obvious what they were doing. The American people saw right through it, and that's why he won.
Well,
maybe it worked his advantage.
So I think he won. And the other thing is, and this is what I've been talking about all week.
I mean, they were vicious.
When I was talking about it, before I lose my thought, I was talking about how expensive things are and how we've cut back. If things in the economy were doing really well, Kamala would have a chance, okay? But she doesn't. And if you watch these focus groups, like CNN's focus group and all these focus groups, They're all on Trump's side. And you're hearing this a lot
because of the economy.
In the focus group, you're hearing a lot about this isn't about who you like or don't like.
Exactly.
It's about the economy. So
people have moved beyond that.
And she's hopeless with that. She doesn't even understand it. And
I thought she made zero connection with the audience last night. Only sycophants love her, like Van Jones, and she did great. And they're going to say that they're in love with her, but there's no regular person, that is on the fence. Okay, because the voters are three people here. You got people that are going to vote Trump no matter what, people that are going to vote Kamala no matter what, and then you got a lot of people in the middle that don't know. Shockingly. Those people are not going to walk away from last night feeling any connection to this woman. No. I heard many people afterwards, because I watched the playback and everything. They're like, I still don't know who she is. I don't know what she's about. I didn't learn anything about her or her policies or anything. All she did was attack Trump. And like I said, they were like three pit bulls on a person, and it was so obvious what they were doing that it helped him. It helped him. I think he could have said different things, but their tricks were so obvious.
Well, and then this is I believe at this point this is confirmed that those earrings were earbuds. That
no doubt in my mind
they were communicating with her through the earrings.
No doubt.
And that's everywhere.
And she was writing things down. I thought they weren't allowed a pen or paper.
No, they can write notes when they're out there. But I think she was just pretending to write. I don't think she was actually writing anything. I think that was just like a nervous thing. So she's got the earphones in.
Yeah. She was definitely wearing earphones.
They gave her the little kid midget podium so she didn't look so short, which I've never seen them do in a debate
side by
before.
side, she was taller than Trump.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
In the split screens.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So everyone has seen this, and it goes back to, obviously, MAGA people say Trump won. The hardcore anti-Trump people are going to say she won. But as you said, everyone knows the mainstream media is not relevant anymore. Everyone knows about the podium. Everyone believes, just like everyone knows that the government was behind the shooting of Trump. Everyone knows that ABC, those two people, worked with Kamala, rehearsed together.
David Muir was debating him for like 7 minutes
without her speaking,
and she just sat there. And I thought that was very damaging to her. Very damaging to her.
To cover for her.
It showed that they were helping her. Mm-hmm. That the black lady with him, she really didn't say much, but she was just vicious in her questioning. And their questions were it was like they were custom tailored to attack Trump, the questioning. It was not generic, how do you feel about the economy? And what are you going to do? Or a couple of that, like, what's your plan? But 90% of those questions were custom tailored to embarrass him and manipulate him and humiliate him.
Exactly.
You can tell if you look at the questioning, the way they worded it as opposed to how they worded her questions. And then when he started talking about getting shot, they cut him off immediately. Okay, we got to move on. Like another missed opportunity by Trump. But like I said, I don't think it matters. I think he won anyway. When she said, people leave your rallies. Okay, that was obviously a tactic to bait him because he's really big on bragging about his rallies, and he's proud of his rallies. And what he should have said to her, he should have said, this is what I would have said. He should have said, what happens at my rallies? I get shot at my rallies.
Yep.
And the people didn't leave. They stayed there because they're brave. And everybody that's there is a brave patriot and loves this country, and they support me. That's all. Instead of getting defensive and being like, falling into that trap that they set for him. And I felt they set some traps that he walked right into, and it was not as bad as he used to, but it's like, it's like they did a psychological profile on him, and they tailor-made those questions.
That's right.
For that profile. I mean, it was very disgusting.
So there's a new special going on at mypillow.com that I want to tell you guys about. It's for the Giza Dream Sheets. Okay, the Giza Dream Sheets. Now, Kathy and I, we have the Giza Dream Sheets on our bed. On our guest bed, we have the new sheet, the new type, the Percal sheets. We got those because we wanted to try them out. The Percal sheets are just $25 with the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. The Giza Dream Sheets are just $29.99. That's a huge discount. And the Giza Dream Sheets are made of 100% Giza cotton. This is very important. Giza cotton is the finest cotton in the world. And Mike Lindell says there's a lot of people, a lot of companies sell Giza sheets, but they're only 10% Giza cotton. His are 100% Giza cotton.
His sheets are really nice.
Well, the thing about everything Mike Lindell makes is of high quality.
And they're nice and thick, which I like.
Well, the Giza Dream Sheets, and I don't know how this works. I don't understand it. I just know they're awesome.
Yeah.
But with the 100% Giza cotton Dream Sheets of Mike Lindell's, they're perfectly soft and comfortable, and whatever the temperature is, if when it's hot in the summer, you're the perfect body temperature. When it's cold in the winter, you're the perfect body temperature. You're like Goldilocks in these things. And we have several
really nice.
sets of them. We have a few sets of the regular. We have, I think, 1 or 2 sets of the flannel. And we've had these Giza Dream Sheets since they first were made available. And
I would definitely get the flannel for the wintertime.
They're great. I love them.
They're amazing.
And I've been trying to do this with all of our MyPillow stuff over the last week. I can't tell what the first set of sheets were and what the most recent ones because they, just like the towels, I can't tell what the first towel or the most recent ones we got are. The pillows are the same. Everything that Mike Lindell makes is of high quality. Many of these things we've had for years, and it looks like the day that we got it. So the Giza Dream Sheets, just $29.99 with our promo code Kane at checkout. These are amazing. It's a great time to do your Christmas shopping with these specials. And it's free shipping on all orders over $75 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at mypillow.com. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Back after this.
What if the greatest mind in history, Leonardo da Vinci, could travel through time? Imagine the genius of the Renaissance transported from the 16th century to our modern world. What would he think? What wonders would he create? Find out in the new book from author M.J. Andrews, The Mask of Beira, available on Amazon. In The Mask of Beira, a legendary goddess from the Scottish Highlands makes the impossible a reality, sending Leonardo on an unforgettable journey to the 21st century. The Mask of Beira is filled with mystery, adventure, and a touch of magic that will ignite your imagination and leave you changed forever. This is a masterpiece of historical fantasy that you will not want to put down until the very last page. Order your copy right now on Amazon, available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, as well as the book's website, themaskofbeira.com. The Mask of Beira from author M.J. Andrews. Order your copy right now. Have you ever wondered about the true impact of Adam and Eve's sin in the Garden of Eden? In his must-read and powerful new book, Unveiling the Classical and Modern Doctrine of Original Sin, author Christopher Ross explores the profound consequences of that first sin and its ongoing effects on human nature today. With this book, you'll learn how disordered desires and the inclination to sin are inherited from Adam and Eve. But more importantly, you'll learn how Jesus' sacrifice offers the ultimate solution, restoring us to the state of purity we were meant to live in. Through deep theological insights from the Catechism, Church Fathers, and great scholars like St. Augustine and St. Thomas Aquinas, Unveiling the Classical and Modern Doctrine of Original Sin provides a comprehensive understanding of original sin, as well as its influence on Christian life and how the sacraments empower us to overcome it. Whether you're seeking to deepen your faith or gain a clearer understanding of this essential Christian doctrine, author Christopher Ross offers the answers that you seek. Available now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Unveiling the Classical and Modern Doctrine of Original Sin from author Christopher Ross. Order your copy right now and take that first step towards true spiritual renewal. Are you a parent, a grandparent, teacher, or coach looking for a story to inspire your young soccer fan? Messy, a story for everyone. Available on Amazon is the perfect book for children ages 6 to 12. In Messi, a story for everyone. Young readers will follow Lionel Messi's incredible journey from a small boy in Argentina to a global soccer superstar. It's filled with fun facts, life lessons, and beautifully crafted illustrations. Messi, a story for everyone, shows children the power of hard work and perseverance. Available right now on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, and Kindle Unlimited. Give your child the gift of Lionel Messi's inspiring story today and order your copy of Messi, a story for everyone on Amazon.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. They had the 9/11 ceremony today, and families speak. They go up there and a couple of them have attacked both Kamala and Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I've never seen them get political before. And that tells you a lot. These are New York City people. It really tells you a lot about how bad things are that they're doing that. I've never heard of something like that. Now, I'm just reading on X that the governor of Ohio is sending a team to Springfield, Ohio, to find out and take care of what is going on there. You know, this was one thing.
Well, she's going to look really stupid when they find out that's true.
Well, this is the thing, guys. You know, it's not just that I've talked to people from Springfield that have told me that it's happened. I've played several times this week on the show the body camera footage from the cop, and he got the woman, arrested a woman for doing it.
I saw that.
You know, and you hear the eyewitnesses that called the police talk about it.
I mean, there's plenty of evidence.
Yeah, there's 911 calls and everything else, and it's an important thing because the Democrats and the media keep saying it's been debunked. It's been debunked. It has not been debunked. They have not done any investigations. They've just said it's debunked. And what's happening in Springfield is insane. And Kamala just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, she thinks everything's funny.
And now they did a poll on ABC last night, which ABC actually put this on their air. Who won the debate? 92% said Trump, and 4% said Kamala. That was right after the debate. People that were watching it live. So that tells you.
Well, he was on Hannity last night, and I watched it. And Hannity said they're calling for a second debate, and he said, I don't know. He said, I won. He said they want a second debate because she lost. And he said, when you're a prize fighter and you win, you don't go back and fight again. You hold your title, and that's it.
The loser wants to fight again.
He said that's what he said. He said the loser is the one who wants the rematch.
That's right. Every time.
And but I don't think she would see it that way. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, on CNN, of course, but like I said, it was an obvious attack on him.
Her people would see that she didn't connect with people.
Another thing it did was, I think people were really upset because it was an opportunity for her to explain what she's going to do, and she didn't, and because she can't. But his final statement to me sealed the deal for him and for her when he said, "You've been there for 3.5 years and you've done nothing, and you're not going to do anything." And that to me was the death blow for her. Her problem is she's attached to Biden. If she was coming in on her own, he couldn't say that because she could say, well, I haven't had a chance. And a lot of people they interviewed after, that's what they repeated. That's what they left remembering was they're like, well, Trump said it. She's been there 3.5 years, and all these problems are because of her and Biden. And so they create the problem, and we're supposed to think they're going to fix it. And another problem she has is Trump was in office and everything was great under Trump. And it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't like he was in office 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Okay. It was just the administration before. People remember, and they remember gas was cheaper, food was cheaper. And I mean, there are people really, really struggling to eat. I told you about the cat food. I bought a bag of cat food now. It's like a big 6-pound bag because I got 3 cats. Okay? But it was $20.
Yeah.
Meow Mix. I'm not even buying like fancy cat food here. I can't afford it. Like, I'm not buying IMs or any of these things from the vet like I used to. I used to get pet food from the vets. Okay.
Well, we had one cat.
When we had one cat, I'd buy like a bag and I'd get dog food from the vet. You know, I'd get them nicer food. I have 3 cats now, and they eat it. You know, they're happy with it. They're healthy, so it's okay. And they're all young. But I just buy the Meow Mix. They like it. But a 6-pound bag, a 5-pound bag, which lasts me about 3 weeks, a month. It's now $20
really
for cat food.
It's expensive.
That is double what it was under Trump.
That's right.
I remember. So that's the thing. People remember what they spent on food. Bacon was $9 a pack a year ago. Now it's $11.50. So it's still going up.
I want to play this one.
People cannot afford to eat. Trump said, vote your stomach.
This is Trump on Fox this morning. And I tell you, that Steve Doocy hates Trump. I don't watch that show because
he does.
It's on when I'm on the air, so I don't watch it. But they came on like at 4 or 5 in the morning today.
Jerk.
So I caught some of it this morning early on before I went on the air. I don't know what his thing is with Trump.
He's a liberal.
But he really, Steve Doocy, he hates him.
Trump. He
really does. But anyway, this is Fox and Friends this morning. They have Trump on the phone, and they're talking about him doing the Fox News debate.
Mr. President, I know when we started the interview, you said that you felt that you won the debate last night, your best ever. I think before the debate happened last night, the Kamala Harris people said that they would actually like to do another debate in October. And I know that last night Fox News sent letters to your campaign and her campaign offering 3 dates of debates moderated by Martha and Brett. One is October 9th in Arizona.
Well, I wouldn't want to have Martha and Brett. I'd love to have somebody else other than Martha and Brett. I'd love to have, frankly, Sean or Jesse or Laura. Somebody else. Let's give other people a shot. But I didn't think Martha and Brett were good last night. I thought Jesse was fantastic last night. What he said, Jesse really got it. Jesse said Trump won that debate. We won that debate by a lot. No, I wouldn't want Martha involved.
Okay, Mr. President, but
I would take some others.
So he dissed them on his own air, and we watched the analysis afterwards on Fox. They immediately go to Brit Hume, who hates Trump, and the panel was so anti-Trump on Fox. It was really disgusting. And why is it that Democrats can have their friends organize the debates, but Trump can't? Trump went into this debate on ABC. ABC is run by the woman that introduced Kamala to her husband.
It seems like the moderators are a problem. And I really wish they could do a debate without moderators at all, because they all come in with a bias. And it's kind of funny, Megyn Kelly bashing these people, but she was no better when she did Trump the first time around. I mean, it's easy for her to sit back, and I'm glad she's pointing it out, how biased they were and how disgusted she was.
Yeah.
But I remember when during the debates with him, right out of the gate, her first thing was about women and how he hates women, how he bashes women. What does that have to do with policy? That was a personal attack. Mm-hmm. And that was her first question. That wasn't about the economy or national security or this or that. And then Kamala last night says, I've talked to world leaders and they think you're a disgrace. That was a horrible, shitty thing to say, and it was false and it was wrong. And that was everything she said was to get under his skin and to hurt his feelings. And I'm not saying she did it because I don't think he cares what she thinks or anything like that. And I think he knows that those leaders don't think that about him at all. He knows that's not true.
And this thing
but it
about
made her look like a real bitch. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. So I want to play that. This is the CNN focus group after. Okay, CNN. They're liberal, right? And this is their focus group, and this is right after the debate. I can get it to play. Hold on.
I think it's important to remember that we are voting for the leader of our country and not who we like the most or who we want in our wedding party, but who is actually going to make our country better. And we're in an incredibly unique situation where we've had both of the candidates in office before, and we've gotten to see what they do. And when facts come to facts, my life was better when Trump was in office. The economy was higher, inflation was lower, things were better overall. And now with Kamala's administration, things haven't been so fantastic. And she's saying she can fix the problems that her administration has caused, but I just don't know if I can afford to take that risk.
Were you leaning towards the former president coming into the night?
Probably.
And did you vote for him in 2016 or 2020?
I did.
Okay. So they want to discount her because she's voted for Trump. It's like her opinion means nothing because she's voted for Trump in the past. You know, CNN, they're disgusting, just like ABC. But, you know, the thing about this entire discussion that's going on, see, this is what I've been telling, and this is obvious. Kamala Harris and the Democrats are done with the American people. They believe the American people are not loyal to them. So they're bringing the South American people here and others, these Haitians and others, to replace you, so they have a new block of people, of supporters, because there are not that many Democrats anymore, and the independents are leaning towards the MAGA movement, so they got to bring in new people to have a new base of support. That is what they are doing, and everyone knows this. You know, people in this country are struggling financially, but the illegals are completely taken care of. They don't have any worries because all their needs are provided to them by the taxpayers that are struggling. Yeah. Right? I mean, that's insane. You know, and I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, I think she is done. That's why the new polls with Nate Silver and the New York Times poll show Trump so far. Nate Silver has Trump up over 30 points.
He was standing at 9/11 today with Kamala and Walz, his wife, and then Kamala, Michael Bloomberg, and Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And J.D. Vance were there. And they were all standing there together, which is nice to see, to honor 9/11 people. And the whole crowd was yelling for Trump. Trump, we love you. We need you. And I could tell he really appreciated that. And I wonder what Kamala was thinking, and Walz and those other people. I think Chuck Schumer was there maybe, and they're just the whole time yelling Trump, Trump. She's done. She's not going to win. This debate, it doesn't matter how many debates they do. It was so obvious what they did last night. It was like I said, it was like three dogs attacking a person, viciously, nasty, and Trump held his own. I'm not saying he was weak. I think he missed a few opportunities, but maybe he just, was getting hammered so much. It really was not a fair setup at all. And David Muir, it was like he was at least debating two people. And David Muir was arguing with him a lot. And the way they framed all the questions was nasty, but it was so obvious that it really hurt her, because it really made it, you could really see how this was scripted and this was choreographed and rehearsed, everything. And I promise you, those earrings she was wearing were those earbuds that, I promise you that. The minute they showed the split screen at the beginning where they showed her taller than him, I knew the fix was in. Her best friend runs ABC. Is one of the executives.
Woman, she introduced Kamala to her husband.
If you're and she's a Trump-hating liberal lunatic, you don't think they're going to do everything in their power? She had the power of an entire. This is why it helped Trump, because Trump's whole thing is, I'm fighting the deep state. Yeah, it was so obvious last night. She had the power of an entire network behind her and helping her. And he was the lone man standing. And it was so obvious. That is why she's going to get destroyed.
I don't think Trump should do any more debates. He's already done 2, unless he gets to pick the moderator.
I totally agree with you.
I mean, come on.
Why should she get to choose everything?
I mean, could you imagine if the debate was run by the person that introduced Trump to Melania?
You should say, I've done 2 debates based on their rules. I'm going to make the rules this
exactly.
time. It's my turn.
This is nuts.
It's going to be on Fox, and it's going to be with Jesse Waters and Laura Ingraham. Why should it be Brett Baer and Martha McCallum? They suck, too.
They do suck. Now, one thing I don't watch too much of the cable news, guys, but when there's a debate or something, we all watch it. So I watched more Fox News yesterday than I've watched in the last, I don't know how long, probably since the convention. And I think that they have been told by management that they must refer to Trump as the former president. They say the former president more than any other words on Fox News. The former president this, the former president that, the former president, the former president. It's like they got in a memo from the executives that they got to reinforce that he's the former president. There are other ex-presidents. You just say President Obama, President Clinton. Everybody knows they're no longer the sitting president. I've never seen former so emphasized as it is with Trump. These Trump, here's the thing. The people that run the media are the same people that run Washington, right? The permanent Washington class, the deep state, the media, they're all one. And they're the lords and ladies of the manor, and the rest of us are peasants. And that's how they view us. And we are not worthy. And we are to bend the knee to them. And people in this country have really woken up. Social media has organized the American people in a way they've never been organized. It started with those Facebook groups during the Obamacare town halls, and now here we are. But I'll tell you this, the one factor more than anything that has Kamala losing with Tim Walz and Trump winning so well is that Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X.
It's definitely helpful.
If Elon Musk would not have bought Twitter, everything that's being discussed would have been banned.
Well,
everything.
And these liberals on the news, they can have their little, I'm sure they went out last night and had drinks and celebrated and enjoy it while it lasts. Have your little small victories.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? Because it didn't help her at all.
No, if
anything, it hurt her.
I want to thank our Patreon supporters. And, if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, remember, Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of all the podcast episodes. There's other perks too, but you do get those commercial-free editions of the podcast episodes. And you also typically get them a little earlier than everybody else, because when I edit the show, I edit 3 versions, right? One for the podcast platforms, one for YouTube, and then one for the Patreon supporters. And the commercial-free edition for Patreon supporters is available usually before anyone else, and it's commercial-free. And I know our Patreon supporters, you guys do listen to that show, so that's a benefit to that. And if you would like to support the program by becoming a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. Our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout out. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, Christy R, and John S. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all for your support. We're going to take our last break. There's much more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Back after this.
Attention parents, grandparents, and teachers. From author Kiko Liang comes a delightful new children's book that you will want to add to your child's reading list. I Am Me, children's book for ages 3 to 9. Self-discovery adventure, build confidence, and unleash creativity. On Amazon, I Am Me invites young readers to immerse themselves into the story as if they were the main character. They'll experience an adventure that teaches them valuable life lessons. They'll learn to embrace their unique inner passions, how to overcome negative feedback, build confidence, and unleash their creativity. It's also a perfect choice for parents and grandparents who are looking to inspire and educate young minds. Order your copy today and let the adventure begin. I Am Me, children's book for ages 3 to 9. Self-discovery adventure, build confidence, and unleash creativity. From author Kiko Liang on Amazon. Brian Craig here. Our 6th annual cruise is coming up, and you're all invited. This time, we're sailing for 7 nights on Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, the Ascent, to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. We set sail March 30th. We have private shore excursions, private cocktail parties, group activities. We're going to go to the shows together and much, much more. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot right now, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779, and online at cruisingdepot.com to make your reservation and lock in our private group rate. Nothing comes close to Celebrity Cruises. When you're looking for unique, handcrafted pieces that combine both artistry and natural materials, there's only one place to shop, and that's Maxon Rugs on Etsy.com. That's Maxon, M-A-K-S-O-N. Maxon Rugs on Etsy is your go-to shop for stunning cowhide and sheepskin rugs, handbags, pillow covers, and much, much more. Based in Canada, Maxon Rugs on Etsy takes pride in offering one-of-a-kind items born from a passion for craftsmanship and design. Each piece is carefully curated to bring style, warmth, and a touch of luxury to your home. From gorgeous cowhide rugs to stylish handbags and personalized wedding favors, you'll find something truly special for yourself or that perfect gift for any occasion. Explore the handcrafted collection today at maxonrugs.etsy.com. Whether it's for your home, your office, or someone you care about, Maxon Rugs has something beautiful just waiting for you. maxonrugs.etsy.com, where craftsmanship meets creativity.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Okay, I got an article here about the aftermath, what people are saying in Breitbart, okay? I'm going to read through this article and we'll talk about it. This is from Breitbart. It's their lead story right now. Although pundits declared Kamala Harris the clear winner, of course they did, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that something? 6 out of 10 undecided voters in a Reuters focus group. Harris only won 3 out of the 10. That means 70% in Trump's favor. A New York Times survey of undecided voters had similar results. Now, remember, they always tell us those are the people that you have to win over, the undecided.
Right.
The debate, this is Breitbart, and I did tweet this. Do we still call them tweets on X?
No, it's posts.
Oh, really?
Somebody said posts.
Okay.
But we could say tweets.
Okay.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
The debate, which was widely criticized for bias on the part of ABC News moderators, was mostly seen as a draw between Trump and Kamala. These moderators are complete hacks. Michael Knowles posted on X.
Yeah.
It's 3-on-1 and Trump is still winning. Some political pundits predicted the debate would have little effect. According to a Reuters sampling, however, 6 out of 10 undecided voters said they were leaning towards Trump. That means Trump's got 60% of the undecideds, according to that group, due to Harris's vague answers and because they trusted Trump more on the economy, which is the number one top issue in this election cycle.
That's right.
Reuters interviewed 10 people who were still unsure about how they were going to vote before they watched the debate. 6 said afterwards they would now either vote for Trump or were leaning towards backing him. 3 said they would still back Harris. 1 was unsure. 5 said they found Kamala's vague answers during the more than 90-minute debate on how she would improve the U.S. economy and deal with the high cost of living a top concern for voters.
Yeah.
4 of those 6 also said Kamala did not convince them that she would pursue different economic policies than Biden. 6 of the undecided voters were men, 4 women. All previously have voted Democrat and Republican. I felt like the whole debate was Kamala telling me why not to vote for Donald Trump instead of why she's the right candidate, said Robert Wheeler, a security firm executive in Nevada who was leaning towards Kamala before the debate. I still don't know what she's for.
Exactly. It was a miss because they don't want you to know.
There was no real meat or bones with her plans.
No.
Reuters' report is supported by New York Times interviews of undecided voters following the debate. Trump's pitch was a little more convincing than hers. Kyla Miller from Milwaukee, a previous Democrat voter, said, I'm leaning more on his facts than her vision. When Trump was in office, not going to lie, I was living way better, she said.
Yep.
I've never been so down as in the past 4 years.
That's
It's
right.
been so hard for me.
Yeah, they are really out of touch. And the thing is...
See, they're rich because of all the Ukraine money and all this stuff that they're
and the thing
raking
is, people have been complaining about the economy for at least a year. And they're still not doing anything about it.
That's right.
And that's what's upsetting people. And
Let
when
them
he
eat cake.
said at the end, why don't you fix it now, really resonated because people are like, yeah, why aren't they fixing this? Because
right.
they caused it and they don't want to fix it.
Correct. Jason Henderson from Arizona, who voted for Obama, said Kamala did not meet his expectations. Trump had the more compelling presentation, he told the New York Times. There was nothing done by Harris that made me think she's better in any way.
No.
61% of likely voters believe the next president should represent a major change from the Biden-Harris administrations.
Which she does not.
This is New York Times.
Yeah.
I read it again. 61% of likely voters believe the next president should represent a major change from the Biden-Harris administration. Only 25% said Kamala represented that change.
Yeah, no change at all.
This is the New York Times poll. A majority said Trump represents the change. Kamala comes into the debate with a conundrum. She cannot campaign on policies to fix crime, inflation, and border security without undermining the Biden-Harris policies. This is
exactly.
This is brutal.
She can't come in and say, well, I'm going to fix it without attacking Biden. You know what I mean? And herself. And that's the problem right
now,
there.
I wanted to mention something about all these conservatives that were taking all the Russian money that they didn't know about.
Oh, yes.
And this is what I want to ask you guys to let me know in the comments, because we're talking about 3 people, right? I know there's others, but these are the big 3. We're talking about Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, and Benny Johnson. Do you trust these guys anymore?
No.
You know, I turned on Tim Pool for like 30 seconds, and he was talking about the debate, and I'm like, is someone paying him to say this?
Yeah,
right?
They are. We know that.
Yeah.
But you've been saying this for a long time. Now, Benny Johnson, I'm surprised because...
Well, he's got young kids, you know.
But his rhetoric is very pro-Trump.
Yes, it is.
But Tim Pool and Dave Rubin are not pro-Trump.
No.
And that doesn't surprise me at all. But Benny Johnson, I don't know what they got out of him. I don't know what, maybe, like you said, it was the access.
Access to Vivek.
Because he was on Air Force One multiple times.
Trump Force One.
Trump Force One, sorry. And maybe that's why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Of course.
But Tim Pool, I don't understand his popularity. He's a little troll. And he commits to nothing. He bashes Trump all the time. And that's fine, you know, he waffles. He waffles. He's a coward. And Dave Rubin all of a sudden last year just flipped and went for DeSantis. I mean, his switch was obvious. Mm-hmm. And I remember when it happened, you'd said to me, somebody's paying this guy to say this. Why would he flip all of a sudden like this? And you were right. That's the, you know, everybody has a price, I guess.
Right. Well, not everybody, but they certainly do. They certainly do. Yeah,
no, I wouldn't listen to them anymore. Benny Johnson is still very pro-Trump, so I don't have an issue with him. I don't see.
No, I don't think he did
where
anything
he
wrong.
was compromised.
I think what they were doing with Benny Johnson is trying to get access into the MAGA world through Vivek because he's so close
Tim
with
Pool
Vivek.
And Dave Rubin, I would not listen to them at all. I don't.
No,
I haven't.
No,
I don't like them. Here's who I like. I like Benny Johnson. I love Charlie Kirk, obviously Brian, and Jack Posobiec. Those are probably the top 4 guys I would say to listen to. Brian and of me, of course, I go with that package. Brian, Jack Posobiec, Charlie Kirk, and Benny Johnson. I think those are obviously then Trump and JB.
Well, I was telling you guys
without saying
on the last podcast.
As far as pundits, though, and Tucker.
On the last podcast, I was talking about this weird interview that Ben Shapiro did with Tim Pool over the weekend, and it was so weird and uncomfortable and strange
I don't
about
like
this
Ben
incident.
Shapiro either.
And I don't know what it was very weird. If any of you guys have seen that,
well, you got 2
you can let me know what you
weirdos,
think.
weird guys. You're going to get a weird thing.
No,
They're strange.
it seemed like he did. I don't know why Ben Shapiro did it. I don't know. But
probably paid to do it.
I don't know, but I know
all these guys get paid.
Yeah, but I know I'll never trust Tim Pool again. He just doesn't seem believable
I don't
anymore.
even listen to him anymore.
And Dave Rubin, I've been done with him for a long time.
Yeah.
But you guys let me know in the comment section. And, there's another thing, too. People contact me sometimes to do collabs, and I really don't do that unless I know you personally.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I did and I don't do very many interviews. I did an interview with a friend of mine a few weeks ago on a podcast, and
not political one.
It was not a political interview, but it was it was on something else, and and I did it because I'm friends with them,
right?
And they did something that, and they're friends of mine. They didn't do anything to hurt me or anything.
No, it wasn't done for that purpose.
But what they did is a reason why I don't do collabs unless I know you personally or do interviews. They interviewed me, and we were not in the same location. Okay, we did it electronically. It sounded, like we were in a studio together, but we weren't. I was actually in my car. It was a 90-minute podcast interview. I was in my car in the parking lot in front of Chipotle, and they were at their house in another state, and they forgot to hit record on their track. They hit record for me, but they didn't hit record for them, so they went back and recorded over their part of the conversation. And because when I was listening to they told me about it before it aired, and I said okay. And then when I listened to it, some of it didn't. It just I wasn't responding exactly to what I was being asked. It was fine and all. But
maybe they did. Maybe maybe he just said that. Maybe he did that on purpose.
It was a technical snafu.
You think so?
But that's why I don't do a lot of interviews, because
it's risky.
If I'm doing something with someone that's political, that's not a friend. This person's a friend of mine.
Right,
okay,
right.
so I know them and trust them. But if it was someone I don't know, that I'm not friends with, that I don't trust, and I do an interview, they can chop it up and make you say anything.
They could go in and change their question.
Correct.
To your answer.
And
really muck it up.
And this is another thing why you don't see me doing collabs unless I know someone personally.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another thing too. You do a collaboration with someone, all of a sudden, and you don't know who they are, all of a sudden you get held accountable for everything they've ever said and did. So if I don't know, if we're not friends and we don't know each other personally, we could do a something together, and then in a week I find out 5 years ago you said something crazy, and then all of a sudden it's
like Trump with Nick Fuentes
when Kanye snuck him in, and Trump didn't know who he was, And when you're a conservative, you have to be so super careful.
For sure.
Because when you're a Democrat, you're like James Bond. You have a license to kill. You can do whatever you want and no one cares.
Yeah, and you're protected.
Like yesterday, that video of Kamala running around with Willie Brown as his girlfriend, with his wife there too, at his campaign events, was all over. Nobody questions her about it.
No.
They have the custom-made midget podium. No one talks about it in the news.
No.
But if you're a conservative, you're held accountable for every utterance, every syllable, every step you take. So when you're a conservative, you've got to be extra. You see how cautious I am, And I just got a DM from somebody that wanted to do a collab with me. I don't know who they are. I'm going to message them back, maybe, but maybe not, because I don't put anything in writing. I just don't do that unless I know you. And the things I'm talking about aren't even money exchange. So this idea that at the level that Dave Rubin and Tim Pool and Benny are at, that they did not have some, remember Megyn Kelly told Dave Rubin, don't take the deal when he told her about it. So I don't buy this crap that they didn't know anything. I don't care what they say. They're probably...
Oh, no, they're lying. I mean, you don't take that kind of money not knowing what you're giving in return.
And the fact that Lauren Chin and her husband were not arrested when Lauren Chin technically owned this it was a Russian front company.
Well, it still could happen.
I would guess that Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, and the others who aren't so famous are all under investigation, and the only reason they're free is because they're being monitored and they're trying to see what else they can catch them on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm expecting some arrest of conservative influencers. I'm not saying these three guys, but I'm expecting some arrest with this at some point.
Didn't you say one of them was deplatformed or?
One I had not heard of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
that can happen too.
There's something up with these. This isn't over. It hasn't even really begun yet. Right? It's the beginning of something. Now, I want to tell you guys, if you're in Florida and you need a roof repair, whether it's residential or commercial, or you need a new roof, you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. No matter where you are in the state of Florida, he can help. And I know there are listeners out there that are all over this state that call Tom Laporta, and he helps you all, and that's spectacular. The Gulf Coast, the Atlantic Coast, Central Florida. I hear from listeners all over the state of Florida that reach out to Tom Laporta. I'm going to give you a cell phone number in a moment. Now, remember, Tom Laporta does both residential and commercial. He works on every type of structure, including municipal buildings like schools and government buildings, churches, as well as condos and HOAs. And he works with every type of roofing material, too. But because he's not just a roofer, he's a contractor, Florida law allows him to deal directly with your insurance company for the cost of the repairs or the roof replacement. So things get done faster. So he's a good guy. And I want to give you his cell phone number and give him a call, okay? And he'd love to talk to you. You can text him, but I recommend you call. He's a good MAGA guy. You can call or text him at 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602 for Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. Make sure you tell him I sent you. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy.